Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode 310.
Okay.
We're gonna do a little sneak peek.
So we have a monthly live Zoom call in our Hustle Humbly community. But this last one that we did, when we ended the call, me and Katie were like, that information was so good. It could be a whole episode.
So we're gonna share it with you. This was recorded in May.
Mm-hmm.
Our live was called Systems Audit, I think.
Yeah, we were trying to see what systems do you have in your business that you actually use? What do you wish you used? Are you keeping it simple enough to even use anything?
Why aren't you using it?
Yeah.
It was a good chat.
It was very good.
Had some nice community members weigh in.
Mm-hmm.
It was what needs to grow and what needs to go.
Right. Yeah. What was my quote? Let me find it.
Okay, please do. So we have a 1 hour live call once a month in community. The topics vary. Sometimes we have a sweet community member teach a little class about a specific skill. Sometimes we talk about something, more instructional. Sometimes we talk about how we're feeling. Sometimes we talk about the market. All different things.
Sometimes it's just a check-in.
Sometimes it's just a check-in. But once a month we do them. They're so fun.
But this one had enough valuable information that we thought we could use it as an episode. Okay, so one of the quotes that we say in it is, there is nothing more difficult than simplicity.
True story.
Keeping it simple. And the people who said, my system isn't that complicated. I just use it.
Right.
It works because I use it.
Yeah.
Nothing will work if you don't use it.
Exactly.
So
precisely.
But I think at the end of this community live, you and I were both excited to even just tidy up our own systems and get organized and make sure we're using everything.
Gave us a little spark of motivation.
Yeah, so we're going to share that spark with you.
Yeah, we hope that you get a little spark too. If you love it and you're not in community and you want to come join us, the next live we have is Thursday, July 24th at 1 p.m. Central.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
Okay, so we don't know the topic yet, but it'll happen then.
How do they join us?
HustleHumblyPodcast.com/membership.
Yes. We'd love to see you there if you'd like to come.
We'd love to see you there. Okay,
so
enjoy.
Enjoy this. It's so good.
Okay, bye.
One of my favorite things we do every month is meet up live on Zoom with our community members.
Yes, those meetings are always fun, and I love hearing our friends in different markets share what is working for them.
Hustle Humbly Community isn't just a monthly live. It also includes a private Facebook group where you will find us and an awesome group of helpful agents.
Being able to find those helpful and like-minded agents on our referral and military referral list is a huge perk.
If you're not in community, we invite you to join us now. You'll get the full prospecting templates pack plus access to the podcast search feature.
There's so many benefits to the group, and we'd love to have you. Get in for just $25 a month. Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership to sign up. All right, today we're covering systems, which y'all know is my favorite. We were preparing for this call, and there was a bit of a back and forth.
Well, it's hard to verbalize something that you do on autopilot and write it down. And Katie teaches agent systems. I don't teach that. So it was hard for me to verbalize how simple my systems are.
She's getting it all done easily. And meanwhile, I have to have a system for literally everything or I'll forget the steps. So it's just a difference in how our brains work, I think.
Yeah. So I had to work really hard to think about what I do so that I could verbalize it and put it into actual steps for you. And I read this quote to Katie, and I'll share it to y'all because if you would have been listening to our conversation, you would have thought this is so confusing and difficult. But it's not. It's actually so simple, which is why it's hard to teach. But the quote is, there is nothing more difficult than simplicity. And I think that's so true because as agents and people in general, we overcomplicate everything. Everything is overcomplicated. Everything is cluttered. You think you're organizing by putting folders into folders into folders, but you're never going to open those folders. So Yes, that's kind of, we'll see how this goes
I think
today.
it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Is anyone, how about drop some comments for one, so I can make sure my chat is working, and for two, who's feeling good, bad? Give me an emoji to symbolize how you feel about your systems. Can we get like, are we feeling happy, sad? Are we confused?
Do you feel like
What's our
you
vibes?
are a well-run machine?
Okay, Misty.
All
They're all
the
the
same.
same.
They're all the same. Carrie's happy.
Okay, Carrie's happy.
Carrie's like, yeah, it's okay. Olivia's like,
I should get find them. She's like, I don't know where they are.
what are they?
What could they be? Oh, Samantha's hugging hers.
Samantha.
I love them. Very hit or miss.
Ugh. Yeah, consistency is also important,
Okay. Shay's looking rough.
Someone said the other day, my systems aren't complicated. They work because I use them.
Well, that's correct. They'll always tell you that about a CRM. The best CRM is the one that you'll use. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you don't use the one you have now, you're not going to use a new one.
Like my
you're never going to
secret
use
isn't
it.
complicated. I just use it.
Right. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Sydney very kindly made us a little worksheet that we're going to utilize during this call. This is again, check in. We're going to see how we feel. We're going to figure out, maybe get a little bit of clarity. We're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for clarity. And we're going to talk about 4 core systems. We managed to break it down into 4 categories. Okay. So I'm going to share with y'all a link so that I'm going to show you what it looks like. Hey, friends. If this week's episode got you thinking, do I even have real systems? Then we've got something for you.
We made you a free system audit worksheet. It's the exact one we used in our May Hustle Humbly Community Live call that you get to hear us mention this week.
We break your business down into 4 core systems so you can finally figure out what's working and what's just taking up space.
Go grab it right now at hustlehumblypodcast.com/audit. And while you're there, check out our community membership too.
Okay, I'm going to share with you this link for this worksheet. It is going to be a template link, so you'll have to make a copy. It'll say make a copy. Let me go back to the chat. I'm going to give you access to this. So y'all can go and pull up this sweet little worksheet if you want. And we're going to go through the different categories that we have managed to break our systems.
Are we just going through this sheet with them, or do they need
to? Yeah, they can do it like currently. It's sort of a nice, you can look, when you make a copy, you'll be able to type right on this if you like. So you can go in and put what your confidence level is for your system, 1 through 5, and then you can make notes in there of maybe if you hear anything you like or you want to add. I'd also really like everyone to be able to share. So this is not about my systems or Alyssa's systems. It's more about these are the systems you need in order to make your business run, and then you decide which ones will work for you. Here are 4 core systems. Number 1, pipeline building / marketing. Are you confident? What's your level of confidence in your pipeline building / marketing? This is where we're getting our clients. We opted not to use the terminology lead gen.
We just don't like that word. It's hard to say lead gen without being like yee.
Oh, Sarah's at a 0 to 1. Anyone else want to drop their confidence level with their
while you're answering that, like what does that even look like? So
yeah, you tell us what systems fall into that.
Okay, so for me, pipeline building means I'm trying to get more people that I know to become clients. I'm trying to get the relationship from in my spreadsheet of my database to an actual transaction. So the only way to do that is to maintain the relationship with these people so that they don't forget about you. So, you know how I talk about I go down my spreadsheet and maybe I'll comment on their last social media post, or I'll send them a text or send them a letter, something that lets Alissa Jenkins' name pop into their life somehow. To me, that's all it is. It's just relationship building so that you're not a secret agent.
So what are we going to tell Diana? She has great campaigns, but no new clients.
What do you mean by campaign? Because I don't do like a campaign per se.
So in my neighborhood, I drop something every month. And I'm really pleased with the way things are growing. My neighbors know me. They talk to me when they see me. Every time I do a drop, I'm talking to more people, and I don't knock on doors, but they're on their driveway, they're walking their dog, whatever. And things are growing. But to this date, and if I had to count how many I've done, well, my neighborhood, it's been at least once a month since September,
Okay.
sometimes twice a month. So we're talking 700, 800.
Diana,
And
is that the house that you just sold or in
yeah,
your, you did?
yeah.
Okay.
So I am going to go back in a couple weeks and do another drop. The 4 drops that you said around a listing, the fourth one, who's next, or are you ready? And, the things that I do have in my pipeline have come from that neighborhood. So I'm going back. My office is there. But
Yeah.
I feel really good about what I'm doing. It's not salesy, it's neighborly, it's good information. I like all of that. But nobody has called and said, please sell my house
Hmm.
or please help me find a house.
And I think it's really wise of you to note that, and that you're tracking this so that you're not just spinning your wheels and maybe finding a way to tweak it. And there obviously have been listings that have come up. Are there a lot of people selling in the neighborhood? Because I find there's not a ton of people selling in general right now unless they have to.
There are not in my neighborhood. I would say we were the fourth house to sell in 2 years.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so look, you're fishing in an empty pond, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, maybe if someone decided to sell their house, they would use you, they remember you, and maybe they know someone, maybe you just need to tweak your message. Maybe they're not selling, but maybe they have a relative who's selling in a different neighborhood.
Mhm.
So you have relationships with those people, but just say, hey, everyone seems to be staying put here. Maybe you know someone that wants to move somewhere else.
Mhm.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great idea. Just saying, like, yes, I live and work this neighborhood, but these are my zip codes. These are my specific areas that I work. So, yeah, I agree with that. Just updating the marketing a little bit to even give them ideas.
Okay.
Because if I was in the neighborhood, I don't know that I would say to my friend that's in another neighborhood, oh, you should call this agent. Because to me, I'm like, well, you don't live in my neighborhood, so you shouldn't.
Got it. Yep.
So maybe just make sure the message is clear that yes, I'm marketing you because I'm your neighbor, but I also love working these zip codes, things like that.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
so we're going to talk. Thank you, Diana. That was very helpful. We're going to talk a little bit about Misty.
Yeah, two Mistys.
We've got
Misty Smith
everyone named Misty. It's in a small town.
and
No
Misty
name
Taylor.
Okay, so this whole section of your system, so we break it down into pipeline and marketing. Let's just say you're working your database. That would be the system you're running. Maybe it's a social media system. Maybe it's a farming or postcard series. Maybe it's like a pop by like Diana's doing. Maybe it's online leads. Maybe it's open house. Any place that you're getting your business from would have to fall into this category. So for Misty and Olivia, do you have some thoughts?
Well, I think campaigns are great. I think volunteering is great. But my end goal is to get these people's information onto my database somehow. Okay. So I'm trying to be intentional with collecting people, as I like to call it. Like I want my spreadsheet of people that I actually know to grow. That's the whole, if it's not growing, then everything else I'm doing is for nothing. So, for example, like when I'm we're having all the end of the year parties right now at school. I made sure every parent, I was like, hey, I'm going to text you, send me your address. Hey, we need to keep in touch. Like, I'm doing everything I can to get them onto my spreadsheet so that I can continue building the relationship. If I went to the end of the year party and yeah, I had a great relationship with these parents all year, but if I didn't take it to the next level of making sure we're friends on social media if they have it, making sure I have their address and that they're in my database and on my email list, it was kind of for nothing. So database building is really the most important part, and it does take a little bit more intentionality to make sure that you are asking the right questions, following up the right way. Like for example, when I am at getting their addresses, I'm like, I need y'all's addresses because Haven wants to make sure your kids get a Christmas card from her, right? So it's like, I just need to make sure I collect them beyond the event where we met. I need to find a way to keep in touch with them.
Okay, I like that. Misty, I feel like you could also do, I mean, so obviously just treat your whole town like the neighborhood, right? We can't break it down into neighborhoods. Like
No.
the whole town is the neighborhood. So maybe you go to pop by schools and you bring end of the year gifts for teachers. Here's a beach ball. Thanks for teaching this year. You enjoy your time off. Or maybe it's like, something to that effect where you're reaching out to where people are.
Sarah, for the end of the year parties I'm going to, I'm room mom. So there's a handful of room moms. Not every parent is present at these parties. But I'm there to help pass out food or clean the classroom or whatever. However, I did just get it. Haven came home with an invitation from a girl in her class whose mom just sent an invitation that was like, hey, on the 31st, I rented some water slides. If y'all want to come and bring your kids, feel free. So, like, you could certainly host something at your house but regardless of if you need to host it, and Missy, you don't have to have kids, obviously. I'm just using my example. You could, I mean, kids are a very helpful source of business if you make them so, which mine are. But there's plenty of other things that you can do to get around people. Yeah, just borrow some kids.
Borrow some kids.
I'll ship mine to you for the summer.
Happy to.
Oh my gosh, I forgot my
Okay.
answer. But anyway, you better bet I'm gonna be at that party. Even though I'm not the host, I'm gonna be there.
Okay, but there are local events. This is probably, if you don't have kids and that's just not the place where you can work these things. If you're going to do social media, you become like the mayor of your town, right? Like you go out every weekend and you try a different restaurant or you show people the best parks or where the updated look. Gary would even talk about that pothole on Highway 1 that everyone's so annoyed about. And it will resonate with your audience. And you'll be like, here are the neighborhoods you can live in that avoid the pothole on Highway 1. Like, you can do so many things.
I'm a huge fan of like reviewing restaurants as an agent, just because to me it looks like one, we're not working that much, and two, like I don't know exactly what it has to do with housing, but I love the idea of these are the neighborhoods around this park. These are the neighborhoods that avoid this pothole. These are the neighborhoods if you want your kids to be able to walk to school. These are the neighborhoods that this, that this.
There, you can also just post, here are the 3 lowest price listings in this zip code today. Here are the 3 highest price listings in this zip code today. People will come back and see that over and over again. And as long as what you post is local, then you're going to kind of build that local knowledge, local sphere. Okay, this is not actually an entire call about marketing, but I think we have an idea. So maybe in your notes, you write down, what is your current marketing system? Do you have one? What is your focus of where you get business? And then like, what do we need to work on?
Yes, you get a recording of this for sure.
Okay, we'll talk slower.
Sure, like those of you, no matter what I'm in the trenches of kids. Before kids, I was showing up to anything I got invited to. If I got invited to grand opening for something, a book club, a dinner with friends, like no matter what I was invited to, I always showed up because one, it's like, yes, I like to go, but also it is relationship building and that's our job. So whatever your thing is, like there's agents in my office that 80% of their business comes from tennis and they play tennis 5 times a week. Like how awesome is that? They love to play tennis and they can do that if they're intentional while they're there. But if they get to where they're not making any money, they may have to cut back on tennis and do other things.
Right.
Right.
Time to try something.
So it's like, how intentional can you be with what you like already and where you're planted now?
Okay.
And that's going to look different for all of us.
So core system number 1 is where you're getting your people. This is your pipeline building. And list out where you're spending your money and how you're marketing and decide if those are systematized. And if they're not, audit, delete, remove.
Can you share the document again, link?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I think it should still be in the comments.
Yeah, but you guys pick it.
That's fine. Let me see, Patty. I think I did it. I had it in my cut paste. Okay, so next system is then your pipeline maintenance / follow-up. So now we've put some people in
They're in the database.
What are we doing now? What's happening?
So they're in the database. We are always making our way through communicating with them. We experience more ups and downs in real estate when we finally get a transaction and we stop the pipeline building. Because we're like, yay, I have so many pending. I'm going to just not show up to things that I'm invited to because I'm too busy. I'm not going to work my database. I'm just going to work the business I have. But the problem is then the business closes and you're freaking out because you have no business because you didn't maintain the first core system. So you always need to be doing that. But now we're moving on to pipeline maintenance.
Yeah, we're transitioning into the actual clients.
And this is where everybody's system is different. And you don't have to do it my way. Katie and I do it very differently. Once somebody I know is ready to talk about having a buyer or seller consultation, and they're like, hey, I think I might need to sell my house. I'm not sure what to do. All of a sudden, they're in my Trello. If you're not sure what Trello is, you want to share the link to the free video in here? I just redid the Trello video to add the BBA column because the old Trello video did not have that. So if you don't know what Trello is, we're going to share the free video for you. And Trello's free as well.
Yeah, Trello is free.
But anyway, now they are going from a database member to someone who is actually a potential client. And so we have to, these are the people that this is our current business and current near future business because they have reached out. And these people, you have to stay in touch with them because we all know people reach out before they're not ready to buy a house or sell a house today every single time. So once they get into my Trello, they're on my list of, hey, I need to check in and say, hey, how's the roof replacement going? Hey, how's the decluttering going? Hey, did you get to talk to the mortgage lender? Like this is more business follow-up. I use Trello. Katie has her one sheet of paper that she does every week.
Right. So we have and I have Trello and I also use my dot loop. It depends on if they're in a transaction. Whatever your system is for following up with people who are warm or hot or actually under contract, this is sort of where we're at. This would include how do you intake a buyer and a seller? Like I have a literal sheet of questions that I ask every buyer and seller. Then I can put them wherever I want them to go. What is your system for your actual buyer and seller presentation? Do you have some sort of setup for when you get a buyer and you go meet them, when you get a seller and you go do a pre-listing appointment? Like what are the steps? So these are the systems we're on right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you have like a listing prep and like some sort of workflows for that, this is where we're at. How do you actually work your business?
Yeah.
Does anyone have a good system for this? How are we feeling? Give me the emojis for this one on our 1 to 5 with our emoji.
Yeah. How would y'all rate yourself in maintaining your pipeline? People who said, I think I want to sell, but you haven't heard from them. You did your listing appointment and you haven't heard from them in 3 weeks. Are you feeling good about your follow-up with them and checking in with them? See, they're feeling much better about this part.
Yeah.
Well, not much,
better than ones.
Patty's our first 5.
Oh, Patty.
But yeah, we're better than ones and zeros. See, I also think it's way easier to excel here because it's more concrete. They reached out to you. You know that they are coming up. And the biggest thing though, if you don't have a system for this, you're going to forget their name.
Yeah.
So you have to be writing down this information somewhere.
Yeah.
You think your brain will remember, but it will not. Mm-hmm. And as you get busier and busier, having systems, when people ask me like, how do you handle the volume? It's because of the system. It's like juggling. Let's see how many we can throw in before I drop one. I haven't dropped one yet. So I haven't found that peak of what I can't handle, because so far the system is just working. I have them in my Trello. I have them written down so I won't forget them.
Okay. Love it. Shall we move on to core system group number 3?
Yes.
Okay. This is your transaction management. So now we have gotten this person under contract. What happens now? This is going to include probably your email system. If you have email templates, how are you delivering like your rules? Do you have a transaction checklist? What is your contract to close workflow? Like these are the types of systems we're talking about here. Like what are your literal, how do you run these transaction systems?
So let's see how y'all feel. Now that we're actually under contract, how do you feel about the level of your system to manage that? See, we're getting higher.
Yeah.
Much higher. Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
This is good. And I agree. Everybody in here sells houses, and we've done this a time or two. So it's easier. We're doing the same thing over and over again. It's the systems that help us keep it consistent every single time so that one client doesn't get poor service and one because you were busy, and one client doesn't get excellent service because they were your only client at that time. The systems allow you to manage every single transaction the same way. They're all getting the same email, the reminder checklists. You check in with the lenders. You have a system in place. And yes, Jen, email templates make this, and you don't even have to have ours. If you write your own, something that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single transaction is key here.
These are the set of systems that if you're doing them right, you're giving a really good client experience, which will lead to repeat and referral business. So this is the part where when people talk about your client experience, it's not about how fancy the gifts are and all these little extra. It's about how well are you running the business part where they need your help. How well are you able to answer their questions and proactively answer their questions if you're doing email templates. And we've had brand new agents who've never done a transaction use email templates and get compliments and just like told how how much better it went than their last agent. We've had lenders praise brand new agents. So like they work immediately. Like you're automatically more professional. Okay. So let's move on to last core system group, your general business, because it didn't really fit into any of the things we're doing with clients. But these things we need to have, like, how are we tracking our budget? Like, what are we doing do we have a vendor list? Do we have like a car kit of some sort? Do we have a safety procedure? Like, what are these things? And a lot of these systems are once you set them up, then you're just keeping up with it. Does anyone want to put in their numbers on how they feel about their general business systems? Or are you running your business like a business?
Yeah, I think like people would give themselves a different number for budgeting versus how good their car kit is.
Well, I mean, you don't have to have a car kit, but like, do you carry around what you need?
Yeah. I know.
I don't know. Like, you have a hammer in there? How are you going to put the sign in? Like, what's going to happen?
Right. Things that you are ready for.
Okay. We're not going to really sit on this one very long, but if anyone has questions or want to share a great system they have at any point in time about any of the categories, please feel free.
Yeah, if you have a system that we haven't talked about that you want to share, we'd love to hear your systems.
I have a quick question.
Please, we're ready.
For Alissa, because I'm so intrigued by your zero inbox. So is your zero inbox just your emails, like new emails that give you notifications, or you literally have nothing in your inbox? Because I never have notifications because the little red dots make me crazy. So I open my emails and I'm constantly opening my emails, probably to my detriment, but I don't ever delete anything.
Okay, yeah. And if the word delete makes you feel panicky, switch it to archive so that when you're done with it, you can just archive it out of your inbox. The key is I treat my email like a to-do list. So if there's a bunch of outstanding items, and if the oldest one is from November, there's no reason I should have something from November on my to-do list. Like we make our own to-do list every day, but the email, when somebody needs something from us, they email us. And I look at it as, oh, a lender emailed me for an addendum. Send addendum, delete email, cross it off the list. It's no longer on the to-do list. Inbox zero is like my perfect, what do they call that place? There's a word for it. Oh, there's even a book about it where
Changing a lot.
And it's like not real, but anyways,
Atlantis?
No, I'll think of it. It'll come to me.
It is your personal.
So I achieve inbox 0 maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but I never want to have to press that arrow button to scroll to older emails because that means we're just utopia.
That's the one. Yes.
That just means there's so much outstanding. And if I open my inbox and it's so full, my brain just goes, you're behind. You need to address these things. So I try to get in there, 1 or 2, 3 times a day and just make sure everything time sensitive is handled. There are some emails in there that are maybe a week old because I'm waiting on something to happen before I can address it, or I'm just not there yet. But the goal is to just clean it out as I go. It does take time. I'm constantly unsubscribing. I'm constantly keeping it as minimal as possible so that I don't miss anything. So inbox 0 is not something that happens every day. It's more of but I do like to keep it below 20, below 15 emails in that inbox. And during the day when I'm working, I try not to scroll like Instagram. Like if I'm waiting on a client, instead of scrolling, I'm just in my app and I'm like, oh, spam, delete, 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 respond, delete, respond, delete. And those little 5-minute pockets of time throughout the day keep it so tidy in there. Sometimes when I open my laptop, I'm like, oh, I did a good job today because it's not overwhelming. So yeah, email I think is extremely important to keep tidy because that's usually things that are on a deadline. A buyer's agent's asking for a receipt. A title company is asking for my seller's information. Like people are needing something from me. So if it's full, that's very like triggering for me.
I will say something that Alissa does that I picked up and is super helpful is use your snooze. If you have something in your inbox, but like for instance, I get a showing request for one of my listings. I want to make sure they provide feedback. So I normally leave that in my inbox so that I'll know. But what if they requested a showing that's in 3 days? I'll just snooze it until day 4 so that it's after the showing has happened, it pops back in and it reminds me, did they do the feedback or do I want to contact them? Then it's not sitting in my inbox, it's showing up when I need it. I have also started doing this with all of the fun stuff that I want to read. If it's something fun that I want to read, I snooze it until Saturday morning. Then when I want to get up on Saturday and just scroll or read, I'll just read all the things in my email that they weren't work related. I don't need to read them during Monday through Friday. I'll just snooze them until Saturday and then I can delete them after I read them. And so it's just, if you snooze, I feel like that also helps you just kind of visually clean up that email clutter and then you'll be able to get through more of it.
Yeah, snoozing is great. And then you just have to be careful not to snooze everything. Because one day you'll wake up and because sometimes I'll snooze things till Monday. And every now and then on a Monday, I'll open my laptop and be like, wow, that's a lot of
Halo. Like I snoozed so much stuff while we were gone last week. Like if I'm like, well, I need to do this, but I don't need to do it today. I'm going to snooze it until Monday when I'm back in the office. Like I think that is okay that you can snooze it until your office day, even if you know what that is.
I do that a lot. Like if I know I'm having an office day on Wednesday and it's not time sensitive, I just respond to the email. Hey, no problem. I'll have this for you Wednesday. And I snooze that email till Wednesday. So it pops back up and it's due now. But yeah, just simple little things to help you. It's really about decluttering. If your systems are too cluttered and you're trying to do too many different things and find that amazing app or CRM, it can be very, very overwhelming for us.
Because system setup takes a lot of time. So it's like you just lose that time.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe a lot, delete. Okay.
If you keep something, Kim, in the unread status of your inbox, you just want to keep things as a security blanket. Just know email is not meant for storage. So eventually, one day, and you may not believe me, but I actually had a few people come to me and be like, you were right, I got the notice. You will eventually get a notice that's like, you have run out of space in your inbox. You must delete emails or pay money or get a new email address if you want to proceed. And I would encourage you too, that mindset of hoarding everything will and does carry over into other avenues of your life. So it's more of a behavior to be mindful of, that you can learn to teach yourself to make decisions. You can teach yourself to say, I need this, I don't need this. We don't need to keep every email. I do keep important emails in the event of compliance or anything like that. But email is not the place to store everything. If you keep everything, nothing is important.
What if I told you the secret to efficient client management was free?
And simple, and keeps everything in one place.
That's exactly what Alissa's updated Trello tutorial delivers.
This is the system I use for every single transaction, and it saves me hours.
No more digging through emails or juggling a million checklists. In fact, she's even going to teach you how to use it with the Hustle Humbly transaction checklist.
Just one beautiful Trello board that keeps your business running smoothly.
Grab the tutorial now at hustlehumblypodcast.com/Trello.
Because simple systems equal happy agents.
Okay, I want you to answer a question, or maybe others could answer. What is the difference between a broken system and just inconsistent use? So maybe you had a system, you can't stick with the system. How do we know if it's broken and to pitch it, or if it's just like we need to maybe come up with a different way to use it?
I'll share a quick story while y'all are thinking, and y'all can just comment in the chat if you have a story after me. So when I discovered Trello a few years ago, I did go in, I set up my boards. Before Trello, our office had like a bulletin board class with like little tags with little pins on it, and it was so cute. I'm not really crafty, so it didn't really speak to me, but it looked really nice once it was done. The problem was I'm not going to carry this bulletin board around with me. So I had to be at my office to update it. And then it was like I was always mass updating it. Then I found Trello, and it's basically the digital version. I have it on my desktop and I have the app, and they both work amazing and look great. So I go in, I'm so excited about it. I set it up, I get all my people in there. A week goes by and I haven't looked at it. And I'm like, oh, come on, Alissa, like, this is the simplest system. If you can't use this, you're not going to use anything. And so I had to ask myself, like, what do I need to do to use this? And the answer was I needed to have it in front of my face. So in my internet browser, I went in, and this is in the Trello video as well. I show you how to do this in the new Trello video. I went into my search engine settings, and there is a way to select which tabs are open on startup. So when you double click Safari, or when you double click Chrome, or whatever your browser is, it can automatically open to your MLS, to your email, and you can have like as many tabs as you want. So what I did was I set it up to where my Trello was the first tab, my email, and my MLS. So when I double click Chrome, it's open, and the first thing that pops up is my Trello. And all I need to do is quickly glance at it, because all I need to do is see the names. And most days, because I look at it every day, I'm good. But every now and then I'm like, I see a name that makes me go, it's been about 2 weeks. Like I need to, it's time. I need to follow up. So having it and finding a way to make sure you will use whatever system you're committing to, whether you're like Katie and just need to keep that paper on your desk so that every time you sit at your desk, you see that name, whatever it may be, you have to use it for it to work, or it will not work.
Yeah, it's like so simple. It's just a single sheet of paper. It has every day of the week. It has every client I'm currently working with. It has everything that's pending. It has everything that's listed.
I even have someone who operates out of a Google Doc. Like it's just a document that they made, and it has active buyers, active sellers, and they update it every day. And they actually set the Google Doc, because Google Docs are a link, to open upon startup. So every time she opens her internet, it's like, bam, here's your people, before you jump into your email and get lost in there, let's just take 5 seconds to read these names before we move into the trenches. Okay. There's also been many times where I get so sucked into email, and I was actually opening my email to email someone. But then I opened my email and just started responding to emails. And then I got to like inbox 5 and closed my computer and went, didn't send your email. Ah, it's tiny in there. And then I went, I didn't even do what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
That wasn't even what I was supposed to do.
Literally what happens when I go to my phone to do something. I'm like, oh, I'll do all this other stuff.
Yeah. I also set a lot of reminders. So just this morning, I had 3. And I don't want to say, instead of Siri, I'm going to say Susan. So I'll say, hey, Susan, remind me to email the lender on Fig Drive tomorrow at 9 a.m. And she sets a reminder, and it pops up on my phone and it pops up on my computer. So I use Susan a lot. The last time I gave this example, she started talking and she set all these reminders that I was using as just as an example. But yeah, I use a lot of reminders that just pop up, especially in the evening when I'm with the kids and someone messages me and asks for something. And I'll say, hey, Susan, remind me to check on that receipt tomorrow at 9 a.m. And she does. So it's like the biggest thing, that's what a system is. A system is something that remembers for you so that we don't have to rely on our brain, and it keeps things from slipping through the cracks.
Okay, new question. Where is friction showing up in your current business? Does anyone have a space in their set of systems where they're feeling friction? It's not easy to do these things. Misty, that's hard. You got to put on 2 different hats.
Being a broker, being a managing broker, and still operating your own business.
It's like you need business hours for each.
I feel guilty if I'm not in my office with my agents, but I need to be other places all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think truly office hours would make sense if you were like, hey, my office hours this week, even if they can't be the same every week because of your appointments, they could be like, my office hours on Monday will be 1 to 3, and on Tuesday they'll be 9 to 11, and like just give them an hour or 2 every day where they know you're going to be there. They will work around yours.
And I'm working on that. It is getting better, but we're only
My
5 months in.
Remax broker of 14 years still sold. She didn't sell a ton, but there were times when she was out of the office and she had, anywhere from at the height, probably 40 to 60 agents in there. And then, by the time I left, more like 20, but sometimes she wasn't there. She would always be back at some point in time that day. Like, there's, again, you're not an emergency room doctor. The agents will be okay for a few hours if they can't find you.
Yeah, Christina, I find that I sometimes check email obsessively depending on what's going on, but it really is a habit. And so the more you can disconnect from it, like turning off notifications, it's an email, it's not a text message. So it can sit there for an hour or 2 or a day. And if it's something that at the end of the day, you don't have to clear it out immediately. They just want to hear from you. So I can't tell you how many times I respond to an email, even if it's on a Monday. And I'll say, hey, thank you so much. Yes, I will look into this. I should have this information back to you by Thursday or Wednesday. They don't care when it is. They just want to know that you saw it. I know I'm really behind when I start getting text messages that say, did you get my email? That doesn't happen very often, but it has happened before. And that's sort of my like kick to be like, hey, you're behind. We need to like, when they ask you to go to lunch after sales meeting, you say no today because this needs to be tidied up before we can go do fun things. So I have a lot of lunch dates with myself, still, me and my computer, wherever I want to go, because I don't let myself go to lunch with other people if my business is not under control. I have to earn it.
Okay, I like Jennifer said that her friction is keeping up with paperwork from email to like Skyslope or wherever it has to go.
Yeah.
But if you're working to inbox 0, if you're working as a to-do list, then
it just goes.
It just
goes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I need this inbox. I need this email out of my inbox. And the only way I can delete this email is if I put that document in SkySlope. I also really like Katie's method of timing yourself. Sometimes we're like, oh, it's going to take me an hour to get all these documents into SkySlope. And it's like, no, it's not. Actually set a timer and go through your inbox and move everything to SkySlope and then press stop. It might take you 20 minutes, depending on how much you have. It takes about 1 minute per document to assign it into SkySlope or Dotloop or wherever you are storing your documents. But sometimes we're so overwhelmed by how long something might take, and it really doesn't take that long.
Yeah. I also think if you're not setting aside office hours, even if they're not in the same place all the time, if you don't have a half day or a full day that's your admin office time, it'll be very frictionful to try and get those things moved around. Like you have to have a space where you're like designating admin time.
My designated admin time a lot of days is I drop my kids off at school. Haven likes to get there right when it starts, even though you don't have to be there till 8. 7:30. So I drop them off at 7:30. I like to schedule 8 a.m. appointments. Doesn't always work out. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, I don't come to Katie's until 9. So from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, I'm in there. And it helps me so much just get ahead for the day, address time sensitive items. So it's like just finding little chunks. Another thing that I struggled with, especially when it came to database work, I felt like I can't sit down and work my database or do this project or assign all my documents until I have 5 hours of like, I want to start something and finish it in one sitting. And it's very rare. So I had to change my mindset. And I actually heard someone say, like someone on Instagram or something, that they struggled with this. And instead of saying, I'm not going to start that because I don't have time, they changed it to, I have 10 minutes. Let's see how much I can do. And that helped me so much because I was like, yes, I'm in carpool. I'm in park. Carpool hasn't started yet. I have 10 minutes. I don't want to just sit here and scroll on Instagram. How many emails can I clear out? How many people from my database can I go comment on a social media post? Like being intentional. You have 4 gaps in your day that are all 5 minutes. That's 20 minutes. And if you're intentional about these little gaps, at the end of the day, you don't have that frantic feeling of all the things you didn't get done today because you were intentional. So it's really about just like being mindful of your time during business hours so that when it's evenings, weekends, like you do have more mental brain space available.
I think that played into the sneaky ways your systems might be creating overwhelm. So if your inbox is super full, you're going to be overwhelmed every time you get in there. If you have a CRM that you don't keep up with and it's giving you all these red notifications, your system is making you feel overwhelmed. If you think you have to sit down and have everything perfect to work on your database and to reach out to them, you're going to feel overwhelmed because you're never going to be there. Okay, Samantha, I would say,
read your question.
I'm going to read it. Going back to budgeting, are you doing it yourself or do you have a bookkeeper who helps with this? I haven't been successful at managing this myself yet. Well, one, yes, I do have a bookkeeper that helps me with this. But two, most importantly, is everything changed for me here when I got a business bank account. And I only use it for business. It receives all of my commission income. It pays all of my business expenses. So then I'm not having to weed out like what's personal, what's business. It's just, that's it. Even if it's a designated credit card or whatever, it will make this, you're not having as many expenses as you think. And if you know that they're all business, it'll be very easy to organize them, whether that's in a QuickBooks online or a spreadsheet or sending to your, bookkeeper. It made it very easy.
I also have a bookkeeper. Bookkeepers are not very expensive because they're not communicating with you daily. Like my bookkeeper, once a quarter, I get an email from her that's like, send me your account statements. And then I just download the activity from my business account and she puts them into QuickBooks. It categorizes it. So it's very simple, but I can't delete her email until I send her what she needs. So it forces me once a quarter to go in, download it, glance at everything, make sure everything looks good, make sure everything looks appropriate. So finding a good bookkeeper would be, most realtors are not the best at bookkeeping. It's like we're creative brains and people brains, and those brains aren't typically also numbers engineering spreadsheet brains. There's a ton of apps out there for tracking receipts. Sarah just says QuickBooks. QuickBooks just is the app. Just do the QuickBooks. There's so many. I used to have one and then it sold and discontinued. And
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? Does anyone want to share with us their broken system and we can help you fix it? Okay, Misty, the replays are going to be in your dashboard. So if you go to hustlehumblyresources.com/login, you can log in. And in the dashboard, there'll be a videos tab. They'll have all of our well, not all, because sometimes I'll remove the ones that are like time bound. But most of the old videos, the lives are in there.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
yes.
So a while ago on a live, I don't remember it's been a while ago. I am, in and out. But you guys were talking about members that had sort of different things that they'd be willing to present on or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I would be very happy to do like sort of a quick crash course on QuickBooks and like how the receipts things work and all of that. Because I've been a QuickBooks Pro advisor since 2007. I'm a CPA. So, I mean, I'd be very happy to do that for the community group and everything. So, yeah.
We will get you on the book.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be perfect.
Oh, that'd be really fun.
And look, Ella's here. Ella's going to do a class for us in June on keeping up with your email and using your email professionally. And then
Love
maybe
it.
we'll get Sarah like in July or August to help us with our money.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so great. Okay, people really want the QuickBooks class.
Sweet.
Love it.
Let's do it.
Okay, this is you.
Yes, the question is on Trello, can you set date reminders? Yes, I have the free app of the free version. I don't pay for anything. And I think you can still put a date on there, but I don't know.
You can't pair it to your actual calendar.
No, I will tell y'all this. This is the system. Every time I get a new contract, whether it's for a buyer or a seller, before I get it out of my inbox, I am sending the email templates to everyone that it needs to go to, lenders, buyers, sellers, assigning things in SkySlope. But then I also open up my calendar and put in the close date. And I also, a week before, I put in the same thing, but it's orange, which means this is closing next week. So it's a reminder to me to be like, oh, receipts, check in with the lender. It's game time. We have a week. We close next week. So I have started putting, as part of my system, putting dates into my calendar as part of my new contract checklist, I guess you could say. It's like send all the email templates to everywhere they need to go, make sure the lender has the file, put the dates in my calendar, assign it in SkySlope, and now I can delete that email because everything is where it's supposed to be. So for Trello, I mean, you can put dates. And if you go watch the video, I manually type dates so that when my brain sees it, I see the dates. I also like to have my cards in chronological order of who's closing next. So there's options there. I don't know that you need to pay for Trello though.
RealtyZam. Christy, what is RealtyZam?
So basically, RealtyZam is I don't do QuickBooks, I do RealtyZam because it is made for realtors. And it's where I do all my accounting. And all I have to do at the end is like when it's time for me to send things to my accountant, is I do all my reports and I send it to him and he goes, this is incredible. I love it. And that's all I do it's it. Everything's there. I can run a transaction in there and it does it matches up with, my commission, my expenses, whatever. And I link it to my credit cards, my accounts and everything. So like my business account, when I run transactions at the store, like if I do anything on my card, it just dings it to that. And I just go in every 10 days. Ideally, I try to go in on the 10th, the 20th, and the 30th and just do all my accounting. And so like I check everything off and make sure it's updated. But RealtyZam, it's incredible. I think it's like $15 a month, but certain firms I think have a discount. So I think I pay $11 a month for it. I don't know how that compares to QuickBooks, but it's set up for realtors. So it's a no-brainer. But yeah, so you could check with your firm and see if they offer a discount with it. Highly recommend. If you haven't really had a solid accounting that you already love, might be worth checking into.
Oh, they have referral discounts too, Christy. If you wanted to post your referral code,
Go put it in community if you want.
yeah, feel free. Oh, thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, this was very productive. Makes me want to go tidy everything.
Yeah, just tidy up, take an audit. Nicolette was here, our good friend, who we saw in person. Okay, I'm glad y'all enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
Okay, just take your worksheet and
You're not alone, Olivia.
Get out there and audit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's you got to just take stuff. What's working, what's not.
Can you put the worksheet in community, because I'm on my phone and it wouldn't let me download it.
We'll do
Thank
it
you.
as soon as we get off the call. If anyone wants
Appreciate
to
that. Appreciate you guys so much.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Okay.
It would be boring without y'all here.
Hi, this is Jenny Hartzog from Charleston, South Carolina. I want to toast my broker in charge, Amy Peterson, today. She is incredible. She cares for her agents so much. She helps them. She's always a phone call away and just giving us the awesomest guidance possible. So thank you so much, Amy, for all you do for all of us agents at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Palmetto.
Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly Community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.